All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Generate Demand on LinkedIn. We have some amazing guests today. We're going to dive into how you're building brands on LinkedIn, why that's important. We'll discuss leveraging some automation on LinkedIn as well, and some of the amazing tools that you can start to use today. So let's get started. I'm so excited to introduce our speakers. I'm going to have you all kind of go around, briefly introduce yourself. And honestly, if you could just explain a little bit about, why are you participating in this webinar? So we'll start off with Bethany.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. I'm Bethany. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sendspark. Sendspark is a video platform to create personalized videos at scale. And I'm a big believer in LinkedIn, especially for people at startups or smaller companies where you can really leverage LinkedIn to connect to your audience without having like a huge budget or a ton, just a ton of a team and marketing and all this at your back. You can just kind of connect with people. And, personally, I've seen how LinkedIn has helped our company grow and reach customers, partners, employees, and great talent. So excited to be here and share what we've done.
Yes, amazing. Love hearing about that. Thank you. And then we'll hop into Aaron. Tell me a little bit about, why are you participating in today's webinar and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So hi, everyone. My name's Aaron, and I'm the founder of Outbound OS. So what I do is coaching and consulting for reps and teams, just help them book more meetings through frameworks and systems. And the reason I'm here today is LinkedIn is the backbone of my entire business. I've gone from 0 to 24K, hopefully 30 by the end of the year in 10 months. And everything in terms of meetings booked, generated, pipeline is coming through LinkedIn. So yeah, just want to talk about how you can build a brand and how you can get started today from 0.
Amazing. I was just talking to Aaron yesterday because just watching him grow on LinkedIn has been insane. When I think about when we first started chatting in like the summer and then where you are now, I was like, oh my God.
I'm coming for your followers. I'm nearly there. Only 3K behind. End of the year. We'll see.
I think you got me, man. You got me. But we're excited to dive into exactly how he's built a brand and some of the amazing secrets that he has. I can't wait to hear them because I love learning from you. So then next, let's hop in, and I'd love to learn about you, Brice, and tell me a little bit about, why are you participating in today's webinar?
Thanks, Melissa. So I'm Brice, founder and CEO of Lagos Machine. We are a sales automation platform that lets you engage by email on LinkedIn and by Twitter. The reason why I'm here is basically because, we use LinkedIn exactly as Bethany and I said for our own branding, our own acquisition, but also we are automating campaigns for our users on this platform. One of the key things that everybody said here is how LinkedIn is important for B2B business. 100% of our users are B2B, are using LinkedIn. That's why I'm here to talk about it.
Yeah, excellent. And so we'll get a little bit started. I do kind of want to point out something that has been, kind of discussed a little bit more, Brice. And so LinkedIn automation is a tool that is, can really transform your business. Absolutely. However, some people might feel a little bit nervous or a little bit scared about leveraging it. So the big question is, how does LGM just make sure that LinkedIn automation is safe for users? And let's hop into it from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. If Aaron is building his brand on LinkedIn and loses his account tomorrow, he lost his brand. So yeah, that's more than important for us, for you, for everybody. And that's why that's one of the key things that we address every day at Lagos Machine. What we do, and I will try first to explain you what LinkedIn sees and what LinkedIn is okay with. Basically, they don't want you to automate stuff, okay? First things that's important, they don't want you to automate stuff. So what you need to understand is why they don't want this. They don't want this for two main reasons. One, they don't want you to scrap their data. Okay, mm-hmm. If you scrap their data, you're taking their business, basically. And so there are tons of tools that not only automate LinkedIn, but also scrap LinkedIn data without telling you. And that's another side business for them. So be careful about the tool you use. make sure they don't do stuff without asking you. One. And two, LinkedIn doesn't like people disengaging on the platform. They want more engagement every day. Mm-hmm. And so if you use LinkedIn automation to start conversation, they like that. But if you do that just to spam people, never reply to people replying you, auto-comment, that's the worst. Auto-comment on LinkedIn posts, make fake posts, I don't know, fake engagement, they don't like that. And so if you understand those two concepts, then you understand what works. What basically works is when you engage truly in trying to create a conversation. Don't ask for people to click on your link. That's not creating a conversation. Creating a conversation, and we'll talk about that with Bethany, but is making sure that you bring value to the conversation. And two, engage, stay in a human form of engagement. So if you I don't know, send 200 messages a day, that's probably not human. I mean, probably not really human. But if you send 60 to 80, yeah, if you are an SDR, that's normal for you. You have to send 60 to 80 messages a day. And maybe that's not something that everybody will understand deeply, but there are also technical aspects behind LinkedIn automation that you should be careful about. LGM has been built as a software. You had to install a software on your machine, and so everything that you do is done on your local machine. I have a MacBook. It's done on my MacBook using my personal IP address, basically my ESP. Everything is exactly the same as my regular behavior. But imagine the scenario where you just like a regular post, and 3 minutes later, you browse 100 profile from an internet, an IP that is located in an Amazon web server. Well, that's obvious that you are using a sales automation tool. That's obvious that you are not doing this manually. So in terms of guidance, stay in a reasonable number of actions. Try to converse with people, not just send them, broadcast your message. That's not the goal. And two, use technical stuff. Use tools that don't use extensions, Chrome extensions. The LinkedIn can identify Chrome extensions. And if you use cloud-based tools, make sure that the IP that you use are not recognizable, not coming from AWS or any server. Sorry for the last two, that's technical, but if you use this, there are zero chance that you'll be banned. I use LinkedIn for our own brand, and as you can imagine, I also do outreach on LinkedIn using Lagos Machine. 100% of our team does the same, and we don't have any problem doing this. I'm not sure if I can ask Bethany if she does, but maybe. Do you?
Yeah.
You've never been banned yet?
Oh, no. Well, yeah, great point. I actually have not been banned in 3 years, but I did get banned 3 years ago for doing nothing that we're going to talk about today, but this is embarrassing to say, I promise, 3 years ago, learned my lesson. I did like the like pod thing where you like put your, it was like and the thing is, it was with a group of other founders I knew, the same investors, but you drop a post in and everyone likes it. And I got like a 3-day ban, and then I was like, I'll keep doing it. And then I got a week ban, and then I was like, okay. And I haven't done it in 3 years. But yeah.
That's fake engagement, basically.
Yeah, and it makes sense. And looking back at it, it was so bad. Like all the comments were bad. Everything about it was bad. So I think your point of what does LinkedIn really want you to do, like thinking that through makes sense, and not just try to do bad comments. So learned my lesson, and have not been banned since then.
LinkedIn pods, so 2020. That was like all the rage, and it was like how people were able to get like, better engagement. I remember I was actually in a sales training one time, and the trainer said, want to see how to get, blast, how to get whatever it was on LinkedIn, like just really high engagement on LinkedIn. He goes, I'm going to post this. Now, everyone in the room go like it. And so then we all went and we liked it, but it was like a live engagement pod. So that was the very first one. So yeah, things like that are just not human, not like realistic, typical behaviors. That's what it's going to get you banned. But it sounds like, and we'll dive into it too, that what the growth machine's doing is what are your natural human behaviors, not exceeding that, not 10 timesing it. Like what are your natural behaviors? And then let's just automate that to a certain extent. So we'll dive into this a little bit more. Let's start diving into the brand building aspect here today, because we're going to talk about brand building. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to leverage automation and some additional tools there. So Aaron, to put you on the spot, my friend, someone who has completely exploded over the past year, I am so curious to hear your secrets. So please tell me. But I would love to learn a little bit more about, why building trust and creating content is the first step to selling on LinkedIn. And then we're going to dive into, how you started creating that brand. But let's start off with the beginning. Like, why is that the first step?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, like when we talk about brand in more depth, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to this stuff. Like, I'll be honest, like I really break it down and analyze everything. But how I view it is this top, middle, and bottom in terms of the funnel with content you're going to create. So top is like lead magnets, attract new people. Bottom is case studies made to convert, but middle is the most important, and that's authority, because people, if they trust you, they're going to buy into the other parts of the funnel, right? Like if I just offered a lead magnet, but I have 2 followers, nobody cares, nobody buys into me, they don't know who I am, and they don't trust me to learn from me, if that makes sense. And the same with case study posts. Like if I talk about how I've helped someone, but nobody knows who I am, they don't know what I've done before, they don't trust me as a creator, they're just not going to buy into that, therefore they won't really respond. So I think trust is the most important thing, because if people view you as an expert, then whatever you say and when you reach out, they're going to already trust. And it's like pre-selling. It's like warming them up before you reach out. Yeah, it's like popping them in a microwave, if you will, get them warmed up. So then when you reach out, they're like, oh, I know Aaron, he's been posting content for months. I've got value from that. So the trust aspect is so important to building, as Brice was saying, like a genuine relationship and starting a real conversation.
And it's not easy. It takes time. I mean, Aaron built my trust very early on when he started reaching out to me and then teaching me. And I started learning a little bit about his top of funnel and all that. And immediately I was bought in because he was immediately helping me. So building that authority, building that brand. I mean, Aaron, like aside from just posting on LinkedIn, like if someone wanted to start today, like what is the first step in building that brand?
For sure. I think that the most important thing is just identifying who your content's going to be for. Because, when I'm coaching reps, the biggest thing I see is sometimes they'll be posting company content where, I don't know, they'll be selling cyber. Then next minute, they're giving SDR tips on email. And then the day after, they post a case study about the company, and it just doesn't align because there's too many different avatars that they're trying to serve, right? So I think the most important thing is identifying who's the one person I want to serve. And if you can find a company what aligns, that's incredible. But I think you're literally the perfect example of this, Melissa, where you were posting content, you were giving incredible sales advice, especially about video selling, and then you move into a company about video selling at Sendspark, right? So now when you post company posts, they also align with your personal brand. So again, I think deciding who I'm going to serve, who my content is going to be for, is the first thing and like the most important step to sort of nail down.
Yeah, absolutely. And also thinking about like maybe if you're not in the selling environment that you want to be in, like how can you create a brand and like build trust in some of those other segments as well. But Bethany and Brice would love to hear your thoughts as well. So maybe Brice, if you want to kick us off, and then I'll ask Bethany. But if you could share a little bit of your thoughts as well as to, why building a brand is just so crucial. And if you have any techniques or, any examples of just building a brand on LinkedIn or suggestions, that would be helpful.
Well, I don't have the 20K followers that you have, Aaron, but I used to have in the past. What I did is exactly what you tried to theorize in just one small sentence. Tofu, mofu, bofu, the 3 steps of the content. Well, it works really, really well. And I used Lagos machine to basically my flow, at least, was create content, create lead magnets. I personally like Google Sheet a lot. And so I created tons of Google Sheets that could help small business, exactly as Aaron said, the same type of business that I'm trying to reach. And so people engaged with the content to get the lead magnet. And after that, to engage with the 500 people commenting, well, I could do that manually, but I used Lagos Machine to do that and to engage with anyone commenting and send them the lead magnet. Doing that maybe two times a month gives you a lot of new people in your network that will then better understand what you share when you share middle of funnel content. Basically, not Google Sheet that helps you enrich your prospects, but now how to engage with them. What are the strategies that could be interesting for you to engage with your leads? It's not as broad as the Google Sheet that everybody wants because it's free, but it's still more engaging with your audience. And then when I continue to engage with them, the last one was to say, okay, you want to engage with new people? Okay, you should use voice message because voice message gets you 3 times more reply. Use Lagos Machines to use and send voice message. So you see, you engage with and you get a broader network. You give them strategies. That was my strategy. Give them strategies and then explain them how to deploy that strategy using our tool. Basically.
Excellent. I love the difference in mediums and just how you're communicating. Bethany, anything that you'd like to add on any initial thoughts on like building a brand on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So I really agree with Aaron and Brice. So I'll just add like 2 tactical steps. One, so Aaron mentioned that, with LinkedIn, you're really able to add credibility and build authority for yourself, and that increases trust. And I'll say like that's something that we realized, like Melissa, even before you're on the team, when we were doing like cold email outreach, we found that our conversion rates were very low. Like our deal close rate was low because when we're talking to people, like they didn't know who we were. They didn't really know what Sendspark did. We're just starting so early and we didn't have any authority or credibility. And then we kind of switched to having more of a, either LinkedIn or marketing or some touch first, and then really targeting people who engage with our content. And our close rates shot way up because you're just like having that trust. It lets you jump forward in the sales process and move forward a lot. So I just want to really say like Aaron's point is something that we've felt and then have continued to double down on. And then in terms of like, how do you really build trust and like right in the space? I think it can be really helpful, like especially for the people in sales here, to take information that you're getting from your discovery calls and like what people are saying on calls with you or what you're hearing, and then take those insights and turn those into content. And that it's relevant because that's what you're literally talking about with people for like hours every day. And you might have really unique insights and knowledge about a space that other people who aren't talking to the kind of customers you are for our space. That's something that I think can be really helpful and is often overlooked.
I think that when you share things like that as well, you start developing your own unique point of view. And that's really where people start to align with others. They understand that like, okay, this is what this person believes in. I have similar beliefs as well, or I understand that too. And they want to dig in a little bit deeper. So it's almost like taking a stance, but curating that and putting that into content is how you get it out there. I'm going to circle back to Aaron before we move on to the automation aspect of it. But Aaron, any last thoughts or additional details that you want to add on when it comes to building a brand?
Yeah, I was going to say like what Bethany's just shared specifically about your perspective is the most important thing, because if you're brand new, right, anyone can make a how-to. It's something Hormozy talks about a ton, right? Like anyone can do a how Coca-Cola markets, but nobody can do a how I, like a story about yourself. So I think when you're doing that middle of funnel content, because that's how I'd recommend anybody starts, talk about your experiences. What have you done? What have you seen? What worked for you? What didn't work for you? Because people can learn from both. So I think when you start posting like brand new, focus on your stories, your experience. And then sort of a caveat to that as well. engaging with top creators in your niche is so important. Like, we're not talking pods here, like just leaving a great post, but what I do and what's been working great, especially the past like week when I've been growing a lot, is Mike Gallardo, just as an example, is a great person. Yeah, funny enough, like he's incredible, right? He posts great content, has a big following. I set a mini goal to myself to have the top liked comment on all of his posts. And it sounds crazy, but you get up to, I think it's 1,500 characters or 1,250 characters in a comment. So if you go on his posts, I leave mini posts as comments where he's talking about cold calling. And then I'm like, great post. This is exactly how to do metrics. Focus on this, do this, do. And I provide mini posts on these big creators, especially if you're brand new. You don't have the pull yet. You won't get the engagement. Whereas you can leverage other people's audiences. Like, it sounds devious, but it's providing value, you know? So find top creators in your ICP, leave value on their comments, so then they engage, their audience will see, come to your content. And then the last thing as well I just want to talk about is lead magnets, which is what Brice was talking about. For myself, that has been the biggest reason. Like, I started on, I think I haven't even been on a year yet. I started in December last year with 200 connections. And now it's like 24K. And last week I gained 4K followers from one post, which was literally giving away email frameworks. Because reps, my ICP, they struggle with email outreach because I talk to them, like Bethany said, you know, talking to the people, what are they struggling with? So create something that instantly solves the pain and give it away for free. Because then it's a no-brainer offer. It's like, I can get this thing that solves my issue for free by engaging with the post. And again, I think pods are dead. Like, I highly don't recommend it. But what I do think can work is, for a lead magnet, to, you know, give them access, they have to like, comment, follow, right? Because when they're doing that, they comment, then their network sees it, then they look at it, then their network re-sees it. And then it just becomes this big effect where it snowballs, because again, you're leveraging all these other networks, right? So it's similar to the commenting side, but the more people who comment on your post, their audience sees it, and that can bring more people to you. So yeah, just as like a TLDR, I think if you're brand new, just starting, engage on big creators posts, like map out the top 20 people. I spend 2 hours a day commenting. I think it's that important. Post your stories, how eyes, then move into providing lead magnets, straight value, giving it away for free. Then start posting case studies about how you've helped people, because you have the trust. People have bought into you. They've already had your free content and got results. So now when you're talking about, I don't know, let's say, for example, with Sendspark, you're giving away a video framework. This is the exact framework I use to book X meetings with video. People download it. They start using it to get value. So then when you talk about how they can do it at scale with Sendspark, they're going to be more bought in and be willing to talk to you. So yeah, that's like the sort of rehashing on what Brice and Bethany have said as well.
Genius. And not only are you, when you go to comment on like specific creators' posts, like you share an ICP with them as well. Like, exactly. You're not like you're going at someone.
Yeah, and that's a big thing as well, because I think it can really damage your following if you have people who aren't in your ICP engaging with you, because you're just leaving like great posts and on your friend's post when they're in like a completely different niche. Like, that engagement doesn't help. Getting random people to comment doesn't really lead to anything. You want people in your niche, so then you have the offer, you know, they're going to be willing to hear it out. So again, I think mapping out the top 20 people in your specific niche, times of when they post, how frequent the posts are, and then mapping out, again, when you're leaving that comment, aim to provide the best comment on the post, like give the most value and add on to what they've said. Because again, if they have a big audience, they're going to start, you know, their audience sees you popping up a lot. They're going to come to your page, see your content, and then the whole process just continues and sort of snowballs. But yeah, that's the breakdown.
So good. I'd love to challenge you on best comment on Mike Gallardo's.
Let's go. I had it like 6 times last week. 50 likes a comment. There's no competition, Melissa. I don't mean to say it, but I'm only messing. But yeah,
that's funny. All right, so let's hop into some automation here. Let's start leveraging some tools for LinkedIn. So let me take a look here, because I think what would be helpful as we start to segue into this is, Brice, maybe if you can kind of focus a little bit on sharing, you know, like the brand is built at this point. Let's start using some automation. We know that the Growth Machine is focused on a multi-touch outreach. So maybe, Brice, if you could share, like, one, why LinkedIn is such a critical touch point. And feel free to, you know, kind of walk us through and show us how LGM kind of helps with LinkedIn outreach, if you could.
Okay. So first question, why LinkedIn? We all do sales automation outreach here, and we've all faced the fact that sending an email used to get us quite a good amount of reply. Just 18 months ago, we could get more than 10% quite easily per email. Today, when you get more than 3%, you're quite happy. And so divided by 3 in just 12 months, that's not really, that's not nice for your business. And so we need to find new ways of engaging with our ICP. We're talking about ICP from the beginning of this live. And our ICP are on LinkedIn. 100% of your B2B ICPs are there. And so why would LinkedIn? Because, it works. If we compare our own stats, looking at people doing only email and then only LinkedIn and then multi-touch, so LinkedIn plus email, you get approximately depend on the country, of course, but between 3 and 8% by email. Okay, in average, you get between 11 and 20 by LinkedIn reply rate. So 20% of people you are reaching out are replying. And when you do both, you get both results. So you get on average 24% of people replying to your message when you send them a LinkedIn plus email campaign. What does it mean, LinkedIn plus email? You don't send 2 messages to the same person. That's stupid. You will just spam them. But if they don't reply on the first platform, then you will move to the second one. If you can't find an email, for example, move to LinkedIn. If they didn't accept your connection request, then move by email. If you want to increase your contact request acceptance, probably you should like their last post, maybe engage with them on another channel. We support Twitter because we've seen that in the US, people have more Twitter accounts than in Europe. And so when you engage with them on Twitter and on LinkedIn, they see your face twice, they will probably they will accept your contact request more often. And so LinkedIn works because it's not as mainstream as the email is today. And you need to you have the obligation to use the channel that work to grow your business. And today, LinkedIn is way better than email. One of the things that could be against LinkedIn is what we talked about at the beginning, the security, but also the velocity. When you're sending email, you regularly want to send, you can send more emails per day than LinkedIn message per day. But if you compare the stats, 3%, 15%, let's say 15 by email, by LinkedIn, that's 5 times more. So you need to engage with 5 times less people. And so you have 2 reasons to use LinkedIn. 1, better reply rates. 2, you contact less people. And so you will reach your full total addressable market in more months. That means that you will get more growth along the way. If you are sending all your emails to your entire TAM in 3 months, after 3 months, what do? You don't have any other leads. So you need to maximize the number of replies. And you need to use LinkedIn to do so. Did that reply your question or answer your question? Or?
It does. It very much describes it. We've heard to, use multi-channel, to use multi-touch. Something that I like about La Growth Machine is, although it's very playful and fun to build out the sequence or like the steps when you go to automate. If you look at the logo, guys, you'll see all the different shapes. That's what you're putting together. It's very fun. But you'll notice that you can do all these different steps. So it's all these different types of touch points that you could do. Brice, could you explain a few of those touch points? And then we're going to segue over to Bethany about leveraging Sendspark and into those touch points too.
Would you like me to share the basic steps, share my screen, or just explain them?
Oh, up to you.
Okay.
Up to you.
I'll share my screen. I'll try to keep that less than 3 minutes, just not to be too, I don't know how to say this.
Yeah, a lot of people want you. They want to see it. So lots of
they want to
screen
see. Okay, nice. Let's go. Okay, so as you said, you can create. So this is the dashboard. You can create campaigns that will engage on multiple platforms on Lighthouse Machine. So what you do is when anybody enters your campaign, you can choose any type of action that you want them to do on them, to play on them. And so, for example, I will ask them as a relation, okay, and then wait for 7 days for them to accept me. And if they accept me, then I will send them a message on LinkedIn. But after 7 days, if they did not accept my contact request, then I will send them an email. And after that, let's say they accepted me, I send them an email, a message. Of course, I can insert any type of variable. After that, you can say, okay, I want to engage with people who didn't reply. If they didn't reply, I can send them a voice message, for example. The voice will be sent in your LinkedIn inbox. As you can see here, there's a balance because I'm talking. I can record my message and send them to anybody, but I can also use this feature to say, okay, I want to use the AI to say a first name and then record my own message. We'll glue the two, merge the two messages together. So everybody will receive the same message, but with the beginning of the message saying, hello, David, hello, John, hello, blah, blah, and then the rest of the message. And because we are talking to a small amount of people, you want to convert 100% of them. And so after that, you probably at some point want to call them. So we can also send them, let's say that you can create a manual task to call them. And last thing to end my demo is that after the adoration, I want to maximize the number of people that will receive a contact request and accept it. And so I will say, okay, I will, for example, let me zoom a little bit. Okay, I will like their latest post on LinkedIn, and right after that, so the last one. Okay, and after that, I will maybe just favorite the latest tweets of this person. As you can see, we just created something quite easily, but quite complex too. And so that means that you can engage with your leads wherever they are, wherever they like to discuss. And the last point before I stop this is that we enrich the leads automatically using a cascading enrichment system. So if you push anyone from LinkedIn, we'll find his email using 7 or 8 email provider, the same as the one that you probably already use today. So you don't need to use anything else than this tool. Of course, you can increase your reply rate, and Bethany will explain that by sending them more personalized message, like video message. But for now, you can use, any type of LinkedIn, email, or call actions.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you so much. And it's really fun to build these, and it's so cool to see you explain it in 3 minutes, because when you start getting your feet wet and start building it out, you're like, oh, wait, I can do this and this and this. And it makes so much sense, because those are the human behaviors that you would be doing. You know, I would naturally be connecting. I would naturally be either liking a post or sending an email if they didn't connect with me. I would naturally be sending this message, like then maybe a voice note. But, you know, these are such natural things that we do, and the growth machine is just automating that piece of it. So let's pass it over to Bethany. Obviously, I know how it integrates, but let's share with some of our viewers of how Sendspark, which is a video sending platform that you can do at scale. So we clone your voice, we say your prospect's name, and you can send it out at scale. But Bethany, if you could share a little bit about how Sendspark integrates with the growth machine and really enables personalized videos in LinkedIn DMs.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so one thing I'll say is the way to think about sending videos in LinkedIn. We talked a bit about like funnel stages where you're building your brand, you're creating a lot of awareness. at some point, you want to reach out to people who you want to sell to in order to book a meeting and have that conversation. And so what I would say is like, use the videos for when it's time to convert your followers, your post engagement, like different people who may be interested into like real calls. And what you can do with Sendspark is create AI personalized videos for everyone that you want to reach out to. So you can create one video and then generate different variations and then send them in LinkedIn messages to book meetings. And I'm going to flip through a few, like Brice, not like a full demo, but I just want to show you a few things so you can visualize how this works. And okay. I'm also going to try to make sure I share this in a way that you can see sound. So you guys can see LinkedIn. Okay, so this is an example of something that we send out. And like we send videos like this all the time. We get really good engagement, like 25 to 40% reply rates, which is pretty solid. And the way we're doing this is we'll find posts that either our team wrote or someone wrote about us. Like for example, this, I think I have the post up here. So this is a post that someone else mentioned, but he kind of tagged Sendspark and said good things about us. We're like, hey, let's reach out to, the 700 people that engaged with the post. And so what you can do in Sendspark is you can create a video like this where you record one video that instead of actually saying the person's name, uses the placeholder watermelon. So in this example, I have a video and I'm saying, here, I'll play. Hey, watermelon, thanks for taking a look at Sendspark. Here is a quick video to show you some of the superpowers that we've built in for sales outreach and marketing automation. Sendspark. So there's like a little product demo here, but it's a personalized video outreach. And then what you can do is, share this tab, create a video, like select the language, personalize it for every person, even use different variables. And then at the bottom, you'll add a list of contacts, and then every person's going to get a video where it's basically the same video, but instead of saying watermelon, you're saying each person's name. So here's a couple. Hey, Zoe, thanks for taking a look at Sendspark. Here is just a couple examples. Hey, Zishan, thanks for taking a look at Sendspark. So you're creating a list of personalized videos for all these people. Once you have these videos, you can just download the CSV here and then import them into the growth machine to send out in the automation, the automated workflows that Brice just demoed. And then it's just a good way to add that personalized touch at scale and increase the reply rates. Because as Brice was saying, we want to make sure that every connection counts, and your market size is limited. So how do you make sure that you're getting the best reply rate from every message?
Amazing. It's like the coolest thing. Like all the way that the tools just work so cohesively together, and really you're trying to be personal, you're trying to reach out, you're trying to be multi-touch and like kind of adapt to how people communicate, right? You're leveraging video, you're leveraging voice notes, you're connecting with them, you're doing all these humanistic things, just leveraging a little bit of automation to help you get there. Now, we have about 5 more minutes left. So before we hop into conclusions and more like tactical takeaways, I just want to ask Aaron if he has any specific sales tips that you use to convert LinkedIn outreach into leads. And then we'll do our last wrap up after that.
Yes, apologies. It's funny you both like talked about voice notes and videos, because this isn't a plug, but that's what I'm going to talk about anyway. Because I think there's sort of 3 ways to do it. And if you're just sending a message with text, I'd always focus on starting the conversation, right? And I think the reason content's so important, especially your own content, is exactly what Bethany was saying. If someone's engaged with your post as well, like what I ran, the post where I think it has like 3K likes of sales leaders and SDRs who've engaged asking for my email frameworks. If I like the text message, the DM I've sent to a few is like, hey, Melissa, saw you requested my email frameworks. I imagine it's a main focus for you and the team at the minute. Mind if I ask a few questions? And the whole point there is just so I can start that conversation, figure out if they actually have an issue, and then transition it into booking a call, if that makes sense. However, if I'm doing a voice note, I'm a bit more direct to the point. I can just talk a bit more in it as well, because I think it's personal. So I sort of go a bit more in for the meeting. Same with videos, right? So the sort of basic script is leading with the trigger, like they've engaged with it. Again, going into a hypothesis, a thought you could be looking into X. Then about the pain. So, email at the minute, like Brice was saying, it's not really going well for a lot of companies. They're struggling to convert and build pipelines. So I talk about that. And then I talk about how I've been helping other people. If it is a focus, let me know. Happy to have a further chat and send you some more resources. So again, I think it's all about leading with the trigger that they've engaged, they've done something, what has changed in their world to make now a good time. Make a hypothesis. Don't tell them you must be focused on X, Y, Z, and then just talk about pains, really.
Excellent. Perfect. Exactly the right answer.
You sent the growth machine for that as well.
Yes, exactly. Alrighty, everyone. So as we start to wrap up, I'm just going to ask each of you if you want to share an actionable takeaway that attendees can implement today to ignite their LinkedIn lead strategy. I know, tough question because it's only one you got to pick. Would anyone have one that they really want to shout out that they want to start off with? But you'll each get to answer one actionable takeaway.
Right. It always happens. We were all waiting, and then it's the same time. I knew it was going to happen.
Let's go.
But no, in terms of like takeaway, the biggest one I'd say is just start posting content. Like post 5 times a week as well. A lot of people think, let me just do once a week. Like your first 50 posts will be awful. I don't want to look back at mine. It's disgusting. Even the videos as well. But that's the point, right? The more you do, the faster you learn. So start posting high volume 5 times a week. You're going to learn and you're going to build your brand.
Excellent. Brice?
Love that one. Well, mine was more not as nice as this one. Mine was identify one post that works a lot. Bethany showed you one, and engage with those commenters.
Yes.
Because, you don't have the audience yet, but that will give you an audience that works for you, and you can engage with them quite easily. They talk, they replied, they explained what they like, they explained their intents basically. So you can engage with them. And 2, you'll understand why posting on LinkedIn is so powerful. Because you will engage with someone else's post, and you will want more of those leads. And so you will, experiment the LinkedIn outreach, and 2, experiment LinkedIn strengths, LinkedIn as a social network.
Amazing. And Bethany, actionable takeaway?
Yeah. Connect with the people who engage with these posts, whether they're your posts or other people that you're commenting on. Like, just send the connection request, because then you're building your own community, right? And maybe it's too early for you to try to sell to them, but like you're getting them in your network, and you're becoming like real friends. So don't just post, don't just comment, like really send those connection requests, and over time it'll really add up and you won't regret it.
Yes. You'll make friends and maybe get some opportunities as well as future job opportunities, things like that. So don't be afraid. Start getting out there. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. This was such a great conversation about how to generate demand on LinkedIn. So thank you so much for joining, and I will see you all again.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.